Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are doing a little what-if roleplay. The subject of said roleplay, Tirisfal Glades. And the hope that, what if Blizzard do something interesting and different? So let's get into this. In my previous video we spoke about 925 and how it was bringing very little of worth to the table. There's not much substance to it. Shameless link in the description if you want to check out that video. But it is also bringing a big lump of unknown. And that is the story and zone elements surrounding the Glades. The home of Lordaeron and Brill. The spiritual birthplace of the Forsaken. Now Blizzard have kept this tightly under wraps. It's been encrypted, you haven't been able to find out. There's been, I think, one leaked quest bit of dialogue, and that is all we have seen. So that opens up the possibility of having some fun and speculating what it potentially might be. Now I see this coming down to probably one of three potential outcomes. Now first up, it's one quest line and done, cementing Calia as the leader of the Forsaken, cleaning up the Glades, maybe making Brill the new capital for the undead, and that's it. We literally go there, she says, "Oh, thank you for all your work and help in dealing with Sylvanas," and that's it. Now you can go along your way. Giving us the same sense of disappointment, funny enough, that those loyal to Sylvanas kind of felt when you were summoned to the Windrunner Spires, and she told you, "Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. You can run along now, little boy. Off you go."
It's over. Go home.
And yeah, my hopes and dreams of an interesting storyline wrapping up with a nice bow were dashed. Well, we could go on to number 2, and that is a basic quest hub that will try and see us to the end of the expansion. Think kind of Darkshore quest line, but at the end of an expansion instead at the beginning bit. Maybe recreating the coming together of the Forsaken and the Alliance members again. For those of you that haven't read the book, I think it was Before the Storm, they did this idea where the Forsaken and the humans would meet and try and build, bridge those gaps between them. When the meeting happened, Anduin was on one side, Sylvanas on the other, and unbeknownst to Anduin, Calia Menethil had slipped in amongst the people. Sylvanas saw her, and it all went very wrong. And a lot of people, Calia being one of them, died. Or I suppose if you're already undead, died again? Sorry about that. And maybe to complement this whole gathering, this coming together of the Alliance and the Horde, we might get kind of a few quests, dailies and that kind of thing. Thinking the tournament grounds in Northrend, where we can kind of go around, do a few interesting bits here and there each day, and then go about our merry way. At the end of it, we get a reward, we get a title, amount, whatever. My hope is for something like option 3. Now with this I'm thinking Legion Order Halls, but on a smaller scale. This doesn't need to be over the course of 2 years, it doesn't need to be a full expansion, but we're going to come together. We're going to clean up the Glades. Maybe something has been found in the Glades that ties into the dragons, and the only way we can truly explore that is by cleaning up what was done during the battle and the releasing of the plague by Sylvanas. But you could have it that the classes were all doing their bits, all feeding into this kind of sense of hope and renewed optimism about the future and working together. You get the paladins and the priests are tasked with healing those who are sick and protecting the supplies that are coming in to help rebuild the town and the surrounding area. The druids are focused on healing the land, the scar that runs down the very centre now of the Glades. They're having to repair this and cleanse against the plague. Hunters are maybe off into the forests, into the woods, fighting wild beasts that got free during the battle. There's Alliance Griffin riders that were fallen, and the Griffins are now wandering in the woods. There's Wyvern that are now free, and various other beasts and creatures that need to be hunted and killed. Warriors are maybe out there finding the forces, still loyal to Sylvanas, still hiding out in the surrounding areas. You kind of get the idea. Each class would have something, they would overlap, but they would have some interesting story-related focus for them to do. Each class would have a small home a location that was theirs and theirs alone. Maybe with a portal to whatever capital you wanted to do. Maybe it would just be a couple of tents. You know, maybe it would be a campfire for the hunters in the woods. But as each of us complete our given tasks, the zone as a whole would improve. Slowly, the scar down the middle would clear. The forests and the surrounding area would become more safer and more prosperous. Towns, villages, small farmsteads could maybe start to grow in the surrounding area. The town of Brill would be recreated with new buildings, growing in size to be a city all on its own. Maybe if we go at the hunters, they find those escaped wyverns and they bring them back, and that would add a flight point to the city. Mages could help create portals linking the various cities for both the Horde and the Alliance, making this our first combined city. I mean, hell, if you want to go crazy, we want to have professions helping out. Cooks could maybe be making food for the workers, and that could be a daily quest. Tailorers are making clothes for the people of Brill. And the more you help out, the better the area becomes, the greater the rewards become. I'm thinking of this as something along the lines of like the war effort that we had back in Classic for the opening. Or on a smaller scale, how we used to have to decide what resources we wanted to put where so that we could unlock the Mage Tower during Legion. Add some dialogue regarding maybe how the Night Elves will allow no one access to their former home, which is why this is happening in Tirisfal Glades and not the home of the Night Elves. Maybe it's a questline only for Night Elves. There's no work going on there right now, but they're going to visit home again. They're going to focus on having hope and how from the ashes of this tree, how the Night Elves will become stronger. Maybe they gain their very own title if they do this questline. You gain the Ash Warrior or something. A brand new branch of the Night Elf Society. Those who dip their finger into the ash of the tree and mark their foreheads with it, vowing to never forget, to fight to reclaim what was once theirs. Now sadly, I'm really not expecting the third option. I mean, this was literally me just sat there after a little one-liner I did on the previous video, thinking of all the possibilities that we could get, all the really cool things they could do. It doesn't just need to be some sandbox zone like Zereth Mortis, where we get some weak quest lines that link vaguely the main story. I'm excited to head back to Azeroth. I'm excited to get back into some high fantasy. Dragons and adventure for the win. I'm kind of bored and burnt out and not overly interested in the whole spaceships and cosmic powers. If I wanted that, I'd go to a much better setting, which is Warhammer 40k. Recently, I've been playing a lot of Pillars of Eternity 2, Divinity 2, the older Baldur's Gates game. And it really wouldn't hurt WoW to go back to these kind of roots, this heavy RP flavour. We can have both, and we can have both in WoW. We can have roleplay and class flavour that doesn't need to be bound constantly to player strength. Now, no doubt, I know I'm hoping for far too much. We already know, kind of in our hearts, in our gut feeling, that 925 appears to be little more than a stopgap. It's something to plug the hole until Blizzard can get 10.0 pre-patch out for players and show this new version, their new experience for World of Warcraft. And my guess it's meant to last just long enough. Now my guess is this Tirisfal Glade content is meant to last just long enough until Wrath of Lich King comes out and they can jangle those keys. And then, hey, you're not interested in Wrath? Well, we've got Season 4 for those players. And then, oh, it's Alpha Beta Hype Train. We're going to give it to all the streamers, so that keeps you interested and you don't worry about the fact that there really isn't a lot to do in WoW. And for good or for bad, we don't have long to wait to find out now. 925 is coming out tomorrow in the US, if it's not there already, and the 1st of June in the EU. We really don't have long. So we should wait and see what Blizzard have in store for us. Either way, I will say, whether it turns out to be this incredible, immersive experience, or a simple one-line quest, I'm really pleased with how this encrypted build has worked out. It is great to be able to think about logging in on a new patch morning and potentially have surprises and things I do not know awaiting me. That's something very much we need to take forward with this. But that's enough from me. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I will catch you all in the next video. Ladies, everyone.